on hydro fracking, I was concerned because it's about to come to New York State in a big way. That's what they're telling us. And I would sit in a room and the industry would tell me one thing. The industry would tell me, well, you can drink the fracking fluid and don't worry about it, and and there's no issues whatsoever. And those 20 cows that died, well, that was just that was just a mistake. That never really happens. And then you have the anti-frackers who say, well, they're four-headed fish and they're walking down the streets and it's Armageddon. And I just don't really believe the extremes on either side when I hear any issue typically. So we went to Pennsylvania, we just got back. Talk about beautiful farm country. In, what county is it? I don't know. Tioga. I drove 5 hours, I didn't know where I was. But it was beautiful. And Tioga County, there's no Broward or something. Bradford, okay, beautiful. And we went and saw some of these families. And one thing is I saw a lot of economic activity. You see a lot of big trucks. You knew they weren't going to dairy farms. You saw a lot of people working. You saw a lot of commercial activity, which I don't see in this district or north or west. That's a good thing. Some people may say that's bad. I think it's good. Now they're using the hell out of the roads. But you know what? A lot of those companies are now paying for the... So that's a good thing, right? Then I went and met and I saw a family. I'll give you one example. They had a fifth generation piece of property, farm, beautiful pond out front, just absolutely gorgeous home. And about 500 feet from their living room window, from their bedroom window, was a fracking platform that was put on the neighbor's property, almost to the point where you thought it was obnoxious because the neighbor had 500 acres. Why are they putting it 500 feet from there? The property had a diesel spill which went into their pond, so the pond's now dead after the kids have been swimming in it for 5 generations. They fish in it all the time. Pond's dead. Their well is contaminated, and the thing that the gas company was doing is that they test your water, being a good neighbor. They test your water before they begin to put in the facility. But they don't test it for what's in the fracking fluid. And the fracking fluid is the special sauce at McDonald's is proprietary? Well, that's the same thing for fracking fluid. It's proprietary, so they don't have to tell you what's in it. So they have their well tested before the fracking. In fact, they didn't even frack on that property yet. They're just putting in the platform. And they test for the water, but then after it, within a few weeks, their well was contaminated. So the company comes in, they do a test, and they say, well, you have radium in it, you have all these chemicals in it. And they say, well, did I have it in it before? They say, well, we didn't test for that. And they say, well, this is naturally occurring. And now that property that was worth $300,000 has been valued at $9,000. And even though they signed a lease on their own property, they're not making any money because they don't see any royalties coming in on their property. We can't allow that to happen in New York. There may be a way to do this safe, and there may be a way to create these jobs, but we can't allow it to harm drinking water, harm families like that. I am more comfortable in rubber boots in a dairy barn than I am right here. Okay, I love farming. I was in 4-H, and it's just what I love. It's in my bones. And we visited a dairy farm, not really a dairy farm. Actually, it was an old dairy farm. They now have beef and Herefords, they had a fracking pool. You're going to wish you didn't ask this question. They had they had this fracking pool. By the way, they would put the fracking water into these pools. It's kind of salty, so the animals love it. Now this is industrial waste. They don't put a fence around it. So the deer are drinking it. I mean, some hunters shooting it. If they have radium in their bones, you eat it, you're going to get it in you. And the deer love the water because it's got that, So anyways, they had a leak, and it went down the hill. And the cows ate the grass. They didn't drink it, they would have died. They ate the grass. They had to quarantine the cows, but the company didn't pay for the cows. Then people say, well, not that big of a deal. The cows freshened. They had 11 cows freshened, 8 stillborn. If you farm, that just doesn't make sense. You may have 2 if it's bad, 3. You don't have 8 out of 11 that are stillborn. She was pulling dead calves out. So we cannot allow that to happen in New York. And I can tell you that if and I'm Republican, and there are those in my conference that want to push this, they need to go down and meet with these families and see, because we can protect that. There's smart things that we can do. Look, oil companies, we all know, we all use oil every single day. There are bad things that happen from drilling. My friends own ranches in Texas. I've been going there since I was 11 years old. They have found a way that actually helps many of the farmers and ranchers to supplement their income. We know that there are bad things with industrial activity, but to lay out the red carpet and to welcome some of this stuff and have no regulation, we can't allow that.